booktube. This is a bit of a catch-up video. Spring is definitely here. In Vermont, that's mud season, because most of us live on, or a good portion of us anyway, live on dirt roads. Half the roads in Vermont are dirt. And when they thaw in the spring, and like today there's rain, and hopefully I can attach a clip to show how fast the stream next to the house is running, they turn into a muddy quagmire. You'll actually feel them throw your car in different directions. You get used to it, but you gotta be careful you don't get caught and stuck. And don't wash your car this time of year. Although you want to get one wash in to get the salt from the winter roads off your vehicle. But be that as it may, it's a wonderful time of year. Last night I drove my mother home from the children's play they put on, The Addams Family, which was wonderful. And on the way home, hopefully I can attach a picture. Field full of deer. I don't think I got them all in the picture, but there must have been 8 or 9 whitetails. And then that morning we had seen an entire field next to our house. It must have had 50 wild turkeys. So it's a wonderful time of year. Get the fishing gear out. Think about the canoe, life jackets, what conditions everything in, and start making plans for have some fun. So I thought I'd talk about some of the stuff I'm reading. So I'm a big baseball fan, and this time of year I get to start watching my Red Sox. So I'm rereading by Remy, who's one of the announcers on New England Sports Network. Remy's Watching Baseball, Discovering the Game Within the Game, with Corey Sandler. All about the nuances of the game, and a game I love very much. So I'm reading that, or rereading that. I seem to be on a bit of a kick with Westerns. So this is, I just started this. It doesn't take long to get through them. This is one of these leatherette Bantam books, the Louis L'Amour collection. I'm reading Taggart and Bantam, New York. And this 1959, and this volume came, this printing was 1982. So you'll see here there's a Salt River Basin, Arizona, and I'll show you where all the action is, and you got sort of a reference with the New Mexico-Arizona line there, border. Spent many years out in New Mexico, a place I love very much. Not much time in Arizona, but I have been there. So also for the time of year, one of my favorite essay writers, I guess you'd say. He wrote articles for outdoor magazines. Wonderful writer. It's rare for, well, not just in outdoor writing, of any kind of writing, for someone to be an expert at something and yet a wonderful writer about that something. And this man has passed away since. Gene Hill could write about the outdoors, sporting life, hunting and fishing and that sort of thing, and dogs and equipment and being out in nature. So I very much love his work. This one is A Listening Walk and Other Stories by Gene Hill. It's illustrated by Tom Hennessy, who's one of my favorite outdoor illustrators. When does this come out? I used to have all these collections of his that were beautiful. It's New Wind Publishing Incorporated, and it came out in 1985. And I love that type of artwork. See if we get another. Great sense of humor. it's a great storyteller. The person you'd like to sit around the campfire with if you're into that sort of thing. Then, because it's almost fishing season, pulled out the Orbis anthology, the CF Orbis Outdoor Writing Awards, edited by Tom Rosenbauer, forward by John Merwin, and illustrated by Ernest Lassier. And again, this anthology has some great outdoors writers. It starts with a story about a dog titled One by Gene Hill. For those of you into outdoor writing, it has George Reiger, Frank Woolner, let's see if there's anybody else, William G. Tapley, another Gene Hill, Vance Bourgeois, and A.J. McLean, sort of a legend. So you can tell I'm getting ready to get the gear out. Also coming up, Joseph Francis Burton on his channel. Try to link it down below. As I'm going to get this wrong, and I apologize, but we will put a link below. He's doing a really sort of unique read-along this month, April. I think the first is Tuesday. He has links so you can get to the items in question. They're pretty quick reads. I'm rereading Lost Christianities, The Battles for Scripture and the Faith We Never Knew by Bart D. Ehrman. Joseph Francis Burton on his channel is giving away this book and another one. The rules are there. Like I say, we'll link them. But what it is a apocryphal April read-along. They're New Testament Apocrypha. A lot of them have been discovered by archaeology in the last 100 years or so. Some made it down through time. Very fascinating, sort of esoteric, unique, but not a bad project, even if that's not your thing. It's not a bad project because it shows ancient literature to be a little more rounded than maybe we sometimes give it credit for, and some of the stories are pretty interesting. So check out his channel, check out the read-along. I'll be participating. I see a few other people are. And then I recently hauled a bunch of paperbacks, and they're by Jack White, and they're the Camelud Chronicles. I read them years ago. I've got, let's see, over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, so I do not have them all. I do have this one, but I found a hardback the other day for like $1, a first edition, American edition. And it's Jack White, The Camelud Chronicles, The Sky Stone, which is the first, The Forging of Arthur's Britain, and I just had to have it, even though it doesn't match my other ones. It's a Tom Doherty Associates book, so it's Tor. Forge, 1996, first edition. 367 AD, the empire is falling, the legions of Rome are in retreat, the green and pleasant lands of Britain have become a dark and deadly killing ground. It's a time that breeds treachery in some men and greatness in others. This is the rich and rousing story of Gaius Publius Varus, one of the finest soldiers ever to fight under the eagles of Rome. He is among the first to see the truth, that Britain must fend for itself in an increasingly savage world. As the empire tears itself apart, Varus makes the fateful decision to turn his back on Rome and strive to preserve civilization in Britain. And all this leads eventually to Arthur, King Arthur. So I was thrilled to find this. It's in a lovely condition. I wonder if they say who the cover artist is. I say that and then I won't be. Oh, jacket art by John Howe, Paul Stinson. So, well, here's our author. It's a Canadian author, but he was born in Scotland. And this series was quite popular, and you still hear about it on Book 2. I think Mel's Bookland Adventure recently did like a little piece on King Arthur and the literature and stuff that was really good. If I can find that, I'll link it too. I'm making all these promises. Now I have to keep them. And then finally, for the 1 If by C, or 2 If by C, excuse me, that Steve and I do together every month, where we switch off a nautical book. One of us will do fiction, one will do nonfiction. This is my month. April will be my month for fiction. I very rarely say what I'm going to read because I can be a bit of a mood reader. But I thought I'd go back and read a Douglas Remy book. And this one is For Valor. It's a World War II volume. One of these lovely McBooks Press editions. McBooks Press, like if you're into like the Ramage stories, Douglas Remy does a massive series of Age of Sail novels under the pen name Alexander Kent, also published by McBooks Press. They just do tons of great reprints, mostly, but other stuff too for historical fiction, and a lot of it's nautical fiction. So I recommend you look up online. They have a great newsletter. So this is for Valor. The vital northern convoys must get through at any cost, and for the British destroyers assigned to escort them through the bitter Arctic Sea, the odds of success are long. Commander Graham Martineau has paid the price already. He is still haunted by the loss of his ship and her crew to Nazi destroyers. Now he must take on a new command, the cracked tribal-class destroyer Haka and her weary crew. Their assignment is daunting and the enemy relentless. Once again, the Haka must face down superior firepower. But can she live up to her reputation for valor? And I wonder if they give her credit for the artwork here. They probably do. The problem would be finding it. Cover illustration by Jeffrey Hubbard. Did I say that right? Yeah. So you see it. Very nice. Action-packed. So that will be my fiction choice this month for 2 If by C. So other than that, trying to get outdoors. Trying to get ready for the spring and summer, where we tend to be pretty active. Oh yeah, see my little homage to Todd the librarian. Hello Todd, and everyone. Cheers. And I hope you all have a good upcoming week and get some reading done. Thank you, BookTube.